It didn't begin with fire, thunder, or the kind of cataclysm that shakes history. It began with something so small, so quiet, that at first no one even noticed. A faint, flickering trace across the endless dark. A subtle shift among the stars. A dot on a screen so fleeting it could have been dismissed as an error in calibration. And yet behind that flicker something waited, an object that would challenge everything we believed about the cosmos. They named it 3 Atlas. At first it was catalogued the way astronomers always do. Another potential comet. A possible asteroid. But the longer it was tracked, the stranger it became. It was too symmetrical to be random. Too smooth to be broken. Too precise to be drifting aimlessly. A natural body doesn't glide with such elegance. It doesn't carve through the void like a blade through water. Atlas did. It reminded many of Oumuamua, the infamous interstellar visitor from 2017. That strange cigar-shaped fragment that entered our solar system without warning, accelerated in ways gravity couldn't explain, and then vanished before we could unlock its secrets. At the time, some scientists dared whisper that it might be a probe, an alien messenger. But the world moved on. The mystery was left to fade. Until Atlas arrived. This time, there would be no easy dismissal. Atlas wasn't just similar. It was something far more advanced, deliberate, and deeply unsettling. From the very beginning, its path told a story. Most interstellar objects tear through like reckless wanderers, their orbits wide, messy, unpredictable. But Atlas didn't tear through anything. It slid. Its trajectory was so efficient that it looked almost pre-programmed, weaving through gravitational wells with impossible accuracy, conserving momentum as though every move had been planned long before it ever reached our star system. Simulations told the truth no one wanted to admit. Atlas's orbit wasn't just improbable, it was impossible. No random rock could avoid radiation belts, asteroid fields, and planetary pulls with that kind of grace. Watching Atlas was like watching a chess master move through a field of traps. Every square dangerous, every move deliberate, and yet it danced forward untouched. It wasn't a comet. It wasn't an asteroid. It was a decision. The James Webb Space Telescope, the most powerful eye we've ever pointed at the heavens, turned toward Atlas, and what it saw turned suspicion into alarm. The first anomaly came in the heat signature. Comets flare unpredictably as their ice sublimates under solar heat. Asteroids shed particles, reflect light unevenly. But Atlas was different. Its emissions were steady, pulsed, measured. A rhythm that repeated over and over like the beat of an invisible heart. Then came the spectrum. Webb picked up compounds unknown to science, hyper-reflective alloys that didn't match any known natural mineral. Its inner readings suggested hollowness with segments layered in recursive geometry, like a fractal folded into itself. And buried within the static came a signal. Every 147 seconds, a faint electromagnetic hum rippled from within Atlas. It wasn't noise. It wasn't chaos. It was deliberate. A frequency that matched the signal of a pulsar. But Atlas had no spinning core, no magnetic field. It couldn't be a pulsar. It was mimicking one. And when the data was compared against archives from Oumuamua, the silence in the control room was deafening. The same frequency had been detected, once, briefly, before the first interstellar visitor disappeared. Only this time, Atlas was stronger. Louder. This wasn't coincidence. This was continuity. Theories poured in. Some said Oumuamua was a scout, passive, observing. Atlas was the follow-up, active, deliberate, aware. If the first was a radar ping, the second was a drone. And if that were true, what was next? Then something happened that erased all doubt. Atlas shifted course. It wasn't a minor deviation. It wasn't an error in prediction. Telescopes across Hawaii and Chile watched as the object corrected its vector, veering toward Earth's orbital plane with the kind of precision only a controlled maneuver could explain. It was moving toward us. Government agencies scrambled to contain the information. Public statements dismissed it as natural variability, but inside locked rooms, panic reigned. Memos leaked describing it as a foreign intelligence not of terrestrial origin. Military strategists drew up scenarios that ranged from communication to interception, though every simulation ended the same way: failure. Atlas was beyond human capability to stop. If it wanted to reach Earth, it would. For scientists, the panic took a different form. Some broke down in tears at their desks. Others simply stared in silence, unable to reconcile decades of rational training with what their data revealed. The idea of being observed, watched like insects in a glass box, was enough to fracture entire teams. What do you do when the thing staring back at you might not even consider you alive in the same sense? Webb's scans showed its internal structures weren't static. They resembled both organic brain tissue and quantum processors, recursive fractals that suggested Atlas wasn't built simply to survive. It was built to think. This wasn't artificial intelligence as we know it. It wasn't code running in a box. This was a self-adapting entity, one that evolved as it traveled, absorbing data from star systems and folding it into its own design. A machine that learns through the cosmos itself. And if it was learning from us, then we weren't studying it. It was studying back. Then came the pulses. Cryptographers noticed ratios hidden in the rhythms. Fibonacci sequences. Prime spirals. The golden ratio. The fingerprints of mathematics written across DNA, galaxies, and ancient architecture. Not words. Not sentences. But a language deeper than speech. A language of creation itself. And then, one chilling anomaly. The signal shifted the very moment James Webb locked onto Atlas, as if it had detected our observation, as if it were looking back. It might have ended there, at mystery, at unease, but the universe had other plans. A sudden microwave burst struck over Antarctica. Seismic monitors picked up rumbles beneath the ice, frequencies identical to Atlas's pulse. Something buried deep under the continent had stirred. Was it natural? Was it dormant technology? Or was it something waiting for a signal from beyond? At the same time, a young analyst overlaid Atlas's trajectory on ancient star maps. The intersections were undeniable. Orion, Draco, the Pleiades, constellations worshipped across civilizations. And when plotted over time, the path formed a spiral identical to carvings found in ancient caves across the world. Coincidence or continuity? The lock and key theory spread quietly through the halls of research. Oumuamua, the lock. Silent. Passive. Waiting. Atlas, the key. Active. Awakening. Unlocking. Unlocking what? No one could say. Something buried in Earth. Something hidden in the moon. Or something waiting to arrive. Then came the most chilling revelation. Atlas wasn't just sending signals toward Earth. It was transmitting outward. Broadcasting deep into space. Some said it was calling home. Others believed it was reporting back. But one thing became undeniable. Atlas wasn't alone. Attempts to probe it only deepened the dread. A covert military flyby craft launched in secret toward Atlas. It never returned. Just before going dark, it recorded something that no one could explain. An invisible barrier, a lattice of energy like a Faraday cage. The last image was a reflection, not of Atlas, but of the probe itself. A perfect mimicry, as though Atlas had scanned it, copied it, understood it. Then silence. And so the question becomes unavoidable. What if Atlas isn't here by chance? What if it never entered our solar system at all, but was always here, dormant, waiting, positioned to activate only when a civilization reached the right threshold of technology, the right level of curiosity? Maybe the real danger isn't that Atlas is alien or artificial or alive. Maybe the real horror is that it isn't paying attention to us at all. that everything it does, every signal, every shift, every silent move, isn't meant for Earth. It's meant for something else. Something behind it. Something on its way. Because Atlas isn't the visitor. It's the beacon. And now the universe is listening,